welcome back to another RuneScape developer Q&A. This week, sadly, there's no Mod Osborne, so I've taken over him. I think we can all agree there's a bit more headspace.
What have you done with
without him? Well, don't tell them.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it was a secret.
Yeah, don't want to tell them. I'm sure they'll write some fan fiction. Actually, he's just home.
He's home doing the washing up.
I think, yeah.
Preparing the dinner.
Let's move on. So this week I am joined by Mod Ollie, senior developer, Mod Jack, lead of the design team.
Yeah, product owner.
Mod Pi, the combat guy or
Mod Pi,
gameplay
guy,
programmer,
yeah.
and Mod JD, community. Wait, actually, I don't know what social media.
Oh, he needed to say hello to the camera. We said hello to you. That's advanced.
That's clearly not doing as good a job as Mod Osborne usually does. I apologize. So this week we're talking about a number of things. We've got quite a full thing. So we're talking about Game Blast. We're going over that. The double XP weekend as well. We're introducing something called Tales, and then Tales of God Wars. And then we're talking a bit about the Ninja survey that we put out last week. And then we'll of course taking all your questions, answering questions that you asked beforehand in Reddit and on the forums and such. And yeah, I think we'll jump straight into Game Blast. And this one is kind of quite a bit for you, JD. So to start off with, can you announce what was the total amount we raised? Should we give a little drum roll?
Yeah, give a little drum roll on the table.
Oh my God! Worst decision ever.
Well, that's a wet table.
Quite good to plan. So when we left the stream on Saturday midday, we'd made $100,000, which was absolutely fantastic. We came back in on Monday, and after the Well of Goodwill shut on Monday at about 2 o'clock, we had raised $150,000, which is about £108,000. So well done to everybody at home. Who donated. Thank you to everybody. As you can agree, I'm sure you can agree, it's going to a fantastic cause. So thank you again. You're all legends. And I know that whilst we're all up for however many hours, I think we can feel it's completely worth it, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. So you said like over $150,000.
Yeah.
Which is over £100.
£100.
That is more than £100.
It's over £100.
I am great at maths. Over £100,000 and over 200,000 in both Canadian and Australian dollars.
Did you work that one out?
Google Converter.
Do you know how much it is in yen?
He does his research.
I don't
This
know
host.
what it is in yen. But yeah, we all had a great time, I believe. Do we want to go over some of the highlights each?
My highlights are always the challenges, I think. In particular, certain people getting their hair cut.
Oh,
Right.
like Ronan.
Roman's one was diabolical.
Perhaps
But,
Friar Kelpie?
Yep, Friar Kelpie. Which
Oh!
I think that maybe
You're looking great.
we should have given like a parental consent
Kelpie,
warning,
yes.
shouldn't we, before that one?
I modelled myself on you.
You're jealous of
Roger.
my shine, that's the problem.
Yeah, there you go. And there's a photo of me with. It was meant to be a party hat. It kind of became a bit more like the Demon Claw. I think it's a Demon Claw, Devil Claw kind of haircut from Solomon's store.
Legend Arts did a really
He did
good
a really
interpretation
cool
of it, didn't
I
he?
think whilst my whole head was burning through the chili sauce or whatever I ate, I struck a pose and Legends Arts did some good work with that.
I think of everyone's reactions to the chilies, I think yours was my favourite because you were so stoic with it, and then as soon as the cameras were off, you were like.
Well, I mean, when I've rewatched it all, and when I was doing that, I started hiccuping midway through, but I couldn't tell if I was hiccuping or about to throw up, so I was really worried for a little while.
And that would not have been good vomit.
Yeah.
It's only good vomit.
Well, worst the most.
That's good vomit.
About highlights, obviously there's a bit of that.
You could get highlights in that.
I could.
That would make it even better.
I'm not sure you can highlight the middle bit.
Yeah, maybe
Just
not.
the tips.
How long are you going to keep it for, Kelpie?
Probably not much longer. I haven't been to the gym or anything like that yet.
It's been
so,
holed up in your house.
Yeah.
Public
Not
place.
wanting to be seen.
So
You can always just wear a balaclava everywhere you go.
I could, but I don't really want to. Okay, Mod Pie, what was your highlight from Game Blast?
I think it was beating all of the famous PVMers at PVM Challenge. I can't really say it was luck, but let's just say I'm better than Dardan at PVM. So
One of the best comments in the chat the whole day was just someone said, "Damn, J-Mod's a savage today." He was just like not taking any prisoners.
I think particularly with the challenges, I think there was going to be no mercy taken with
No.
the players.
Yeah,
was saying,
we got a little bit competitive at times.
Yeah. a bit
You
too
always
much.
wonder on stuff like Red Nose Day, like how seriously are they taking it? Like, is it just all a laugh, or are they taking it really seriously? It hadn't occurred to me that the only people that would volunteer to do these insane things are incredibly competitive people, and therefore they take it really seriously.
Trying to win at all costs.
Yeah, and I think the Mario Kart one in particular was just
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I watched that back, right? And obviously, well, from the very first challenge, people were like, it's rigged towards the J-Mods. And it wasn't. But, like, we got extremely lucky quite a few times over the day.
We did get lucky. Like it
But
wasn't
with that
rigged,
one,
but-
like, so the camera stays on Mod Ollie as he's finishing his lap. And what people don't see is when Dardan comes out, he shoots 2 bullets before his gun jams, and he missed with both of them. So
He actually missed 3 because I was
Did he?
inside and I knew I thought I've lost. Dardan's just going to shoot the cups over, and then I hear "oh" as he misses the first one, and then "oh," and then Alan's like "oh, Ollie, get out here!" And I just ran out, grabbed the gun, and managed to hit him first
yeah,
time.
but most people took them out with 1 or 2 bullets. So
yeah, Dardan choke,
choked. So, yeah, but
just like in the sumo wrestling.
our RNG was on our favour for quite a bit, such as the pie face one and stuff. So yeah. Mod Jack, any highlights?
I was very impressed with Dave Benson Phillips.
Dave Benson.
I kept calling him
Phillips,
DBP, but apparently no one else calls him DBP, so no one had any idea who I was talking about.
Yeah. For
followed
those
us
who
on
don't know,
Twitter today.
like
Huh?
he.
followed us on Twitter today.
Nice. Good man.
For those who don't know, he used to host a show called Get Your Own Back, which aired in the UK. In which kids kind of went up against their parents to try and gunk them. So for a lot of us, that was a nice little nostalgia.
And my highlight was him calling me a very strange man.
A very strange man.
All I wanted was for
From-
Mod Ash to take his shirt off. No, not Mod Ash. Mod Ashes.
More
Yeah.
dashes.
I don't think anyone wants Mod Ash to take his
Cool.
shirt off, but Mod Ashes.
I
Yeah.
think you'd be surprised.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, I reckon
Oh yeah, I'm completely wrong. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Modoi, any particular highlights?
Got to be the sumo wrestling, really.
Sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
Man, I was a bit disappointed that I didn't get to do that. But when like you guys were particularly physical, and I'm kind of glad I stayed out of it.
Do you need
Like,
the
mean,
pillow?
I don't know what time it was. It was like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. And I was really quite sleepy beforehand. I was like, I'm going to have to summon some energy for this. But as soon as I faced up against him, I was like, I'm going to take this guy down. I was definitely not going to let him win that one.
I think one of my favourite bits was Mod Osborne's quasi-Japanese/Scottish accent, where with the
Sumo ready!
Are you ready? And the elbow drop as well.
Yeah, that was after all Alan did the whole day. The thing that he said was the worst the next day was the elbow drop from Mod Osborne. So yeah, I thought that everything else would really do him in, but it was that that finished him
It
off.
doesn't even taste jelly now.
And
yeah,
Kelpie?
I think for me, like, the Mod Shogun getting on the gun's back was
Poor Mod no.
there was quite a lot of crack on display, and the way like because there was other people like showed a little bit of crack as they got on. They get on the board, but they all climbed on. So that was pointed away from the camera. But Mod Shogun did like a whole 360 getting on and showed the world. So that was quite funny. My clan particularly found that as a funny highlight. And I also think like Boaty accidentally teleporting into the wildy was quite funny. He had like 1 billion I think he had like 1 billion donations on it, and then like accidentally and had to
Accepted
quickly
the
like
telly
exit.
over.
Yeah. It's quite funny. The panic amongst the old school streamers at that time was quite funny. Anything else we want to address from that?
Just that we'll be making a highlights video in the next week or so. I think video team are on it at the moment, and we'll hopefully be taking some of the highlights from 24 hours, which as you can appreciate probably will take a while. But yeah, we'll hopefully have that up for you at some point in the next week or so. I think that's
Can they
about
still
it.
watch the stream at the
Yeah,
moment? Is
you
that
can,
still
yeah.
up?
If you want to, you can still watch the stream on Twitch.
Relive
on our past
the entire
broadcasts.
24 hours.
Yeah, and you can watch it with the chat as well, which is a new feature that Twitch has as well.
Yeah.
So
How does it do that without the plugin now?
Yeah, you can do it
Yeah,
with the
I
plugin. So,
thoroughly recommend it.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely do so.
Oh, and we're showing some
Oh.
images right now of
'Cause-
people being gunged. And that one's
Mod D.
Mod D
Mod D.
and
Luna.
Mod Luna.
Yeah.
Wait for
Yeah.
the Luna spam in the chat.
That's Mod Dolan.
Enjoying that far too much.
Matches his hair though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how much everyone-
Oh, I can't wait to see the video of that.
poor,
People
poor
are going to
Mod
enjoy
Johnny.
that
Johnny.
one.
We found him like that, and he had quite a rude awakening.
We
Maybe
set off
you'll
party
get to see
poppers
that.
next to his head.
Maybe we'll show footage of that one day. Okay, I feel like we should move on.
Yep.
And we talked about like that. So, yeah, I mean, you're free to stick around with us, JD, but I think you also.
I'm alright.
You,
I'll move
you
on
can
to the
talk
chat.
in the
It's
chat.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll talk
JD
in the chat.
will be moving on to the chat now.
See you guys later.
So I think we can move around a little bit more.
The
a
Jamie
little
Shuffle.
space. So the other thing, obviously, whilst Game Blast was running, we also had double XP, and I think there was a little. I think we had a comment on Reddit about someone inputting their bank pin into their microwave. They stayed up for the whole double XP weekend and kind of messed them up a little bit. We
least
don't
he
have
remembered
any.
it.
Sorry.
At least he remembered it.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember anything after
that's
being
good.
around.
We do want to share some stats about double XP weekend with you at some point, but they're not quite. We don't really have them at this time. It's a bit too soon afterwards. So probably next week we'll have you some stats based on that stuff. Did anyone here get any particular mad gains?
I got
No,
99
I
summoning.
99 something? I did. I got quite a few levels, but was a bit shy of 98, unfortunately.
Oh.
I bet I
Personally.
didn't get to play at all.
You didn't get
through
to play
the
at all.
whole
You were just
thing.
Because they were
recovering.
torturing you the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Recovering. Nice. Cool. Okay then. We'll now move on to something called Tales, and then on to talking a bit more specifically about Tales of God Wars. So, I mean, I don't know which one of you wants to start off. Do you want to introduce what Tales are, the concept of Tales?
So Tales, we should talk about Tales of the God Wars first, probably.
Okay.
And then talk about Tales
yeah,
in the context of that.
whatever
I
is
think.
easiest for you guys.
Yeah, so Tales of the God Wars is something that a lot of people won't have heard anything about, apart from its first mention in the BTS that went out last week. So it's basically the first update in a month of God Wars Dungeon 2 stuff, and it's going to be the first glimpse that any of the players get into the new generals and the new dungeon itself. And it's basically we've introduced a new character called the Curator, and he's a guy who sort of collects artifacts and memories and all sorts of things that tell a tale. So the aim for the player is going to be to help him piece together the memories that tell the tale behind this particular God Wars.
Cool. Sounds sweet.
Indeed.
So on from there, then, like, that's the Tale of the God Wars. So then we got other things that are Tales, do we? Already in the game, or upcoming
So that's,
stuff then?
that's what we're trying to consider. So we've been discussing this in some detail, and we'd like to be able to do updates which are smaller than a quest, but still include lore content,
Right.
but which aren't necessarily full-on skilling methods. Because the problem we introduce a new skilling method, it's got to be the best thing in the game, otherwise no one will do it. And if it is the best thing in the game, they'll stop doing the previous skilling method and start doing that one instead. So this causes us trouble, and we don't really have a piece of content that fits into that gap very nicely. And so we're hoping we can do things like this. We don't have a super formal plan for it yet because we need to see how this one goes and whether people enjoy it and like it.
So it's kind of like it's a bit like Bottle Quest, where we're kind of giving a bit of a name so that
a little bit,
ourselves and players can
Yeah.
understand a bit more what to expect from that sort of content.
But but that'll depend on how well this one goes and whether or not we can come up with more things that fit that in the future.
It's like the most likened thing we have to it before is sort of like we had Margaret Memories, but whenever we want to do a piece of content that might be like a bit like that, it just doesn't fit into any sort of category. So if we're trying to come up with a way of describing some content that could be a supporting update to some of the big updates we have going out, and then it's something that if we say, oh, we're going to do a tale with it, everyone will know what we're talking about, rather than us trying to explain it in some other weird way.
So that's why it's called Tales of the God Wars and not God Wars Dungeon Quest.
Yeah.
Because one of the problems Margaret Memories had, for example, was that I kind of presented it as if it was a quest. I didn't really label it very well, and so people were disappointed because it wasn't a quest. I mean, it was just skilling activities with books attached to it. Now yours is a bit more involved than that.
Yeah.
But it's very much not a quest. It's a different kind of piece of content. It's quite useful for us, or at least we think so, because by putting something finite in the game, it's something you can go and do. It's a fun activity for the period of time that it covers. But it doesn't, as I was saying about skilling methods, it doesn't have to compete with existing skilling methods.
Yeah.
We can make it better. We can make it much better use of your time than a skilling method could be, because you can only do it once. We can therefore make it very good use of your time, like a quest is. But at the same time, without people worrying about whether or not it's balanced well, and without rendering other content redundant, because once you're finished with it, you can go and do something else.
Cool.
So I think like the key points are that it's something that can be, it's smaller in scope than a quest, but it can be quite versatile, so we can use it for lots of different things. It's a one-off piece of content, so we can give you a really good reward for it without worrying about it being repeatable and becoming dead content. And it's something that we can do, we can show lore in, we can present lore in a different way to how we might do in other formats, so we can be quite experimental with it.
Cool.
So hopefully those three sort of points will make it quite a popular choice as the supporting update for the big things that we're doing as well.
Cool, nice one. I've got some questions here about Tales of God Wars. So first of all, will there be any requirements for it?
So there's no hard requirements, but the soft requirements are that you will need to have 70 strength for one of the things you do in it, and generally around that mark other combat stats as well. So I don't want to give away too much of what you do, but you will need to be roughly around 70 or higher in most combat stats.
Okay, cool. Will it be so it's something permanent, right? We've just kind of said that about Tales, haven't we?
So it'll be permanently going into the game, but you
Yeah.
can only complete it once.
Yeah, cool. I think it just answers that question, sorry, just skimming through them. So will the new generals feature in the end game at the, so this is more to do with kind of what's happening about, will the new generals feature in the end game content this year? Because obviously we're building up this kind of Slisky countdown to like the conclusion at the end of the year of like what's happening with Slisky's games. Is the stuff that you're doing, is that tied in? Does that feature with it?
Yeah, well, I don't want to give away too much of the stuff that we're going to say in future God Wars Dungeon 2 streams and things like that, but we're very keen to make you've got the original God Wars generals who have been involved in loads of quests and storylines and stuff, and we're keen for that to be the case again. So these generals, which you'll meet for the first time in Tales of the God Wars, we want them to be really popular characters, which maybe the end game could be, that's this year, it's pretty soon, but if people want to put them in that storyline.
We'd include them if it made sense to include
Yeah,
them,
exactly.
But we're not adding them in at this time to get them around in now so that the end game has them.
It's just, I guess it's like TV shows and stuff like that. You create a character and it proves to be very popular.
Exactly,
then you tend to use that a lot more. Sort of.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they're characters for God Wars, not for.
Yeah.
They're not there for Endgame. They're there for God Wars.
Cool. How long do you expect it to take?
It should be maybe roughly half an hour. It depends. I haven't actually done any time trials of it, but there's sort of 4 activities you have to do within it, and each one should be, around 10 to 15 minutes to complete. You can probably do them quicker than that. So I'd say if you want to go through it reasonably quickly, maybe like half an hour. It's probably a good benchmark, actually.
And there's no kind of, you're not setting any precedent there where all tale type content would be like half an hour long or anything like that.
No, so
it can be very much whatever.
The reason, going forward, Tales could have all sorts of different gameplay. So the gameplay in this could be totally different to what the gameplay in the next one might be like. And also the lore might be presented in a different way. So this one, the lore is actually presented as cutscenes. So as I mentioned before, you're collecting memories, you'll get to view those memories. Whereas in another one, they could be books or something like that, which you read and it takes a little bit longer. But
you mentioned Majorette Memories before, and I seem to remember that content
That was
quite a while to
It was
play
about
for,
10 hours of deliberation,
Yeah.
I think you had to do.
It was a good chunk of stuff, Cool.
I think that was a bit long.
So this one you can sink your teeth into the lore a bit quicker.
This will present a story of why God Wars Dungeon 2 is going on and why Zamorak is involved, We'll find out that sort of stuff,
It will tell you why the gods have their factions in this particular place, what's so special about this dungeon, and it will also tell you why their generals are there, and the rivalries between them, things like that.
We've already announced the factions, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've announced that Slisky is part of that. Does that spoil at all that the Slisky countdown? Does it spoil the Slisky countdown knowing that in the end Slisky is going to be safe?
So it's probably worth, just for people who don't know, going over the factions anyway. So we've got Zamorak, Zaros, Seren, and Sliske, who we all think they have some pretty interesting relationships between them. Should be really compelling having those as the factions. But Sliske in particular, that person seems to think he'll be safe because he's a permanent fixture in the dungeon. So if we killed him off, he'd disappear. But remember, the gods aren't actually present. In God Wars Dungeon 1, the gods aren't there. Their generals are. And say Bandos has died, and he was a faction in that. So the factions will fight on regardless of what happens to their gods. And we've been, like these Tales of the God Wars, we've been particularly careful to form rivalries between the generals that are really compelling, regardless of whether the god's there or not. So yeah, anything could happen to the gods still.
Cool. I believe we actually have a teaser image available of some silhouettes of these bosses.
Yeah. So I don't think we don't want to say too much, but this is obviously the first glimpse anyone's had at the generals. So hopefully this will get people's imaginations running. I won't tell you which faction is which. Maybe you guys can guess. And yeah, hopefully that'll get people sort of theory crafting about what.
Who's that
Who's
Pokemon?
Yeah, who's that Pokemon?
I will actually like to see a paint competition where people paint
They
over
fill in
over
silhouettes.
Yeah.
what you
That
expect
Do
they
that.
to look like.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, let us have a go at that, and you tweet Mod Ollie there.
Yeah.
Your entries for that.
Send me your nice paintings.
Yeah. I mean, well, the watch does have like has a wall of concept art. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember starting it, and there's a number of paint pictures there.
Yeah,
fan drawings.
when players send us some good pictures in, and either they're funny or they're really good, we stick them up on the wall. So if you guys want to send some in, then we might be able to send you pictures back of them hanging up in Jagex.
Cool. I think I'm pretty much through all the questions here. Chaos Lupus, of course, is asking, are there werewolves
You don't even have to
involved?
tell me what he's asking.
Are
of
werewolves
course.
involved?
I gave him his quest that had a werewolf in, so no,
It's
there
not
aren't
your
any
turn.
werewolves involved in God Wars Dungeon 2.
Cool.
Maybe if there's humans, he could just imagine that they're werewolves.
Yeah, perhaps. Or he could imagine that. Actually, I was going to spoil something. So.
Okay then. I think I've gone through all the questions. So yeah, as you said, like this is your first kind of official like tales of something, and depending how this goes will depend if we plan more stuff like this.
Yeah.
Nice one.
So if anyone has any questions about Tales, feel free to tweet them to either of us. If we can clarify anything that we've said, then that's always good.
Oh, one last question actually. Will Tales tie into the Master Questscape?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
they
yeah, they will. They all will probably.
All right, cool. Thank you very much for that. We'll now jump to the Ninja Team survey that was posted out last week. Sorry, was there?
No, I was just
Okay.
looking at John in case you were going to ask him a question.
All right, cool.
No.
Sorry. So last week I posted on Reddit and the Ninja subforums survey. It was pretty simple. It only asked the two questions. Question one was, what is your number one most desired ninja fix? Question two is, what general area do you think needs the most attention from the Ninja team? This was obviously done as a way to try and see what you guys think is the most important things that the Ninja team should be focusing on. See if there's anything we're missing, sort of thing. I'm still working my way through this thing. We've had over 1.5k responses to it. We still get a trickle of responses coming through. The way, if anyone's never used SurveyMonkey before, what you can do is kind of like have a text analyst, and you can see like what words appear the most. So that's what I've been using to try and see what things come up a lot. And so I've been working like through that list to kind of see the stuff coming through. So Multiply, I'm just going to put a few of the most popular things to you, and you can
go for it.
explain why we can't do it, or if we will. So the first one was, can we fix the interface creep issues? So
God,
this
I
is
hate
when
this.
you're logging in and your interface moves just a little bit, and due to the way everything kind of sits nicely
Yeah,
together,
when you
it
log
moves
out and log
something
in
out of
and
the way.
it's changed because the monitor has somehow got 1 pixel smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, I hate this. So I reckon it's possible. I'm not going to commit to it because there's certain people on the team that would lynch me if I said yes, we are definitely doing it. But one thing I do know is it is a big change. So the reason why it does this is actually like an infrastructure problem with the way in which our interface system is made, which sucks. Because it means it's not a small job.
Yeah.
It's something we'd love to fix because I complain about it every single time I log in. I'm OCD as heck. So when I log in and there's these tiny gaps and everything that lined up a minute ago no longer lined up. So it's something we're definitely looking at, but don't expect it anytime soon because it's a problem rooted quite deep into the interface system.
Yeah, that's cool. The next one is, could we allow people to have interfaces open during combat?
This is an interesting one because part how the way in which combat works, it does this thing because it constantly grabs access to your player. So it's constantly kind of grabbing you and changing what is happening on your player. Now, an interesting thing about interfaces is quite a lot of them inherently just need it. They just constantly, they want to have it. So what happens is when combat comes along and grabs access to you, it will close all your interfaces. So what we did retroactively is go, you don't want this open during combat. So we can look into it. Generally, I'd say no. We can look into it in spot cases. We've got a way of converting interfaces, but it's a slow and arduous process and a per interface thing. So what I'd say is tell me the interfaces you most want open during combat, and then we can look at them in a case-by-case basis, because it's quite an intricate thing, and it's a lot to do with who has access to the player at any one time, because anything that needs to modify the player, only one thing can modify them at a time.
It's not a simple thing that we can do with all interfaces. It's not a quick change.
I can't just flip a switch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cool. Fair enough. The other one, which I'll take if you want, is boss pet overrides. It's a very simple answer from the Ninja team. Is we don't have an animator, so we
don't
can't
have an
do it,
animator.
so we can't
need
Ninja
to
fix
reanimate
it.
things.
We've talked about this plenty of times. I think everyone knows now that it's a huge animation job.
Yeah.
Something that I have done is I've split it up into batches. I've used the analytics team.
Yeah.
I've asked them to again give me like the list of the most popular boss pets.
Yeah.
The most that are in game, and based on that, I've kind of split up into little batches. So we won't ever release them all in one go. But if we do release them, if we do, we want to. But the first batch will be God Wars Dungeon boss pets. So those will be the first one, because the most in the game is the duck, but I don't really consider that to be a proper one.
No.
So after that is like General Grado and the other three there. So that's with them. And then the second question we had, which was the area that you want the most attention to, kind of what was voted the highest was clans. 20% of people asked for clans stuff, and we have been doing clans since the beginning of the year. We've made it a ninja focus. We started off mainly by helping Mod Maz get a number of her improvements out the door, and I think you would have seen them over the last couple of weeks. We've had a few out ourselves. We've also got we've got some other stuff in the near future, such as removing the 7-day waiting time. Should be out soon.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the way once that's out, the way that will work is, if you're like a brand new player or you're not in a clan, you join the clan, you can use the Citadel straight away. If you're in a clan and you leave it, then you can use the Citadel straight away if you haven't used it in the previous week. If you used it in the previous week, you'll have to wait a week.
Yep.
That just changes we made. So that's to stop people kind of like jumping between clans and using the Citadel over and over again, sort of thing. Because there's some quite good training methods there. But we're definitely continuing to focus on clans, so you'll see more clan fixes hopefully in the near future. All right. Going to move on to general questions time. So these are all the questions we've kind of taken from Reddit and the forums and stuff beforehand, but we'll be taking stuff from the chat as well. So do get your questions in.
And you're going to be Mod Osborning it.
I'm going to be Mod Osborning it. I don't know what.
We're going to have a Kelpie
You're going to
cam.
ask the question and then answer it.
Oh, I'm going to ask and answer. So the first one comes from Kevin Iron RS, who asks, can you repoll Iron Man / Iron Woman loot share? There are so many high max Iron Man that no longer is it a hindrance to lower levels getting loot, rather just a barrier of who your friends are. Has anyone got an answer to that? I spoke to Mod Ramen. I spoke to Mod Ramen, and he wasn't quite sure what the question was and asked people to tweet him specifically what you mean by that, and he'll happily give you a response. Next one is from WaxDS7. If I said that correctly. Will the NXT client be available to all players?
Yeah.
When it goes live, yeah.
Yeah, when it goes live, definitely. It is for all. Obviously, during the beta, if they do more betas, it will probably still be at targeted groups and stuff. But
that's just to keep the number of bug reports down, because I think last beta it took us ages to get through just the weekend.
Yeah.
So
definitely, because everyone tends to report the exact same bugs.
Yeah. We get a lot of repeats.
But yes, it is definitely going to be available to all players. Captain Asgarnia, can we get the Elven Quiver to be shown on the player model similar to the Skirmisher Cuirass? This would be nice to have since it makes Rangers look legit. Also would allow for overrides in the future. Robin Hood Quiver? Question mark.
So this is actually a product of RuneScape over the years. So where different slots that you can have on your body do or do not show when on your actual player when you're actually playing. The quiver and the pocket slot are two ones which have that just no. It's just a binary kind of yes/no kind of thing. If we turned it on for the quiver, then we'd have to turn it on for every single arrow and every single thing that could be in the quiver slot. So potentially, I mean, if we got some time put aside to actually have like a generic quiver that we could replace the arrows in, for instance, and then for the Tyrian quiver we could actually like swap out for the Tyrian quiver rather than the generic quiver, we could do it, and then we could just turn on that kind of show all thing. But it's not a question of only doing it for that one quiver, we'd have to do it for every single thing that could be in there.
Yeah.
What you're saying is technically it's possible.
Technically it's
but
possible.
The chances of it ever happening
it's a lot of it's a lot of modelling time.
We'd have to make it quite not prominent as well, because otherwise it would clash with capes.
Yeah.
They'd probably
Because
be
capes
clipping
are our
and-
primary.
Well, capes and wings, and then quiver on top.
Yeah.
But if the Skirmisher Cuirass has kind of managed it, I mean, you can already do it in game. But
Yeah. All right, cool. Manic Hex asks, why has an intentional difference been made between some of the Dominion Tower and regular versions of quest bosses? Shouldn't they have the same HB/max hit since they're supposed to be the same boss?
So this is a distinction we started to make when we did EOC and went arguably way too far than we should have, which is what we're going through and Mod Days is currently fixing. But basically the distinction between a quest boss and a Dominion Tower boss is the audience that it's aimed at. So in general, I'm not going to say globally because obviously you've got exceptions like Nomad, a quest boss is aimed at someone who's not necessarily so combat savvy as say a PVMer. So what our counter to that is basically the quest boss is going to be balanced towards a guy who does questing, not necessarily easy, and of course things like Nomad can always be a lot harder because that's a feature of the quest. But things in Dom Tower will always be harder because they're effectively aimed at PVMers.
Cool, next one. Manic Hex has another Dominion Tower question. If the number of kills for a pair of Dominion gloves isn't going to be lowered, can the degrade time for the gloves be put in line with other degradable gear?
Did we speak to Mod Days about
I
that?
did. I sent
Indeed.
you the answer, but obviously you haven't had the chance.
I haven't read it, sorry.
So
I've
if
been
I
working.
remember correctly, Mod Days was saying that this is something he would like to change.
Right.
I think
That's good.
I think the change he wants to make is the if you fight harder bosses in the Dominion Tower, you get more points for it.
Right.
So that it's an easier to get like the. It's not lowering. I'm trying to find
Easier to reclaim, yeah.
Easier to reclaim and stuff like that. You get more stuff for what you do. The Wayfarer asks, could you make it so that we can exchange, use or fully charge superior ports equipment for their tradable versions? As it stands, it's easy to accidentally craft the superior by accident and get stuck with them. If not, could it at least be done with scrimshaws?
No. I'm just going to come out and say that,
Short
like,
answer.
if it takes quite a while to build up those resources, so you should really take your time over the interface.
Sure, there's a confirmation box or something.
It uses the global makex, so you have to click and go yes, but there is no confirmation. We can add a confirmation box on Superior. That might just annoy people though.
Generally, just be careful with your hard-earned resources.
But we're not going to allow you to take a tradable item and convert a non-tradable item and convert it into a tradable version.
Yeah.
Just because it kind of injects more than we wanted.
Cool, as well. I'd like to take this time to do a straw poll now. This is something that we've been discussing in the Ninja team.
I'm interested to see how this will.
We've had some mixed reactions from people within the team, so I want to know what you guys think about this. Because within the Ninja team, we've been talking about like decluttering the game, and this basically means removing what we consider to be dead content. The work has been done for rat pits, for example, and it will be going out into the game in the near future. I think we talked about this in one of the very early RS3 dev Q&As about like just removing rat bits, and we've finally done it.
Finally done it, yeah.
There's a load of other stuff.
He's very proud.
Yeah, he likes removing stuff.
Everyone's wanted that for a long time.
So that's going because it hasn't worked for a very long time, actually, I believe. And no one was trying to play it. And
the only people that did play it were bug abusers.
Sort of thing. So it's just one of those things where let's like take it out. If we were actually to try and make it like a viable mini game again, like we would have to do a lot more work than it is to just scrap it and restart it. So that's why we've chosen to do that. Another one on our list was mobilizing armies.
Yeah.
That we felt as a Ninja team that this is something we should ditch. It's the sort of thing where there's some interesting things with it, but it would, if we wanted to like make it a viable mini game again, would probably be better starting from scratch and doing it again. So it'd be better to like take it out now, and then if there's the feeling of needing that sort of thing, then that's maybe something like a retention team could add in the future, sort of thing.
There's a lot of support for that one in the chat.
It's worth saying the rewards would be redistributed.
Yeah, we would
all of the rewards that you could get from it.
Yeah, we'll look to put them between other stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to put a straw poll now. It's just been posted in the chat, so please respond because some people didn't really like it, like the idea of removing it. I think that was based on kind of like. People had worked quite a lot to get their trim request.
The main point of contention is the trim rec. I believe to get trim you need the top mobilizing armies rank, which is quite a heavy time investment. So to basically remove mobilizing armies, we'd be effectively removing that trim rec, which a lot of people have worked very hard to get.
Yeah.
This is the main point of contention and why we feel it's worth raising.
I imagine it's one of those things where people who haven't got that requirement yet are saying, yes, remove it, such as 90% of people who have currently voted, and probably the 10% who have voted no probably have already done it.
I've no doubt we'll get some Reddit threads about this and some discussion going on.
Yeah, I'm also liking to seeing the remove livid farm.
That's happening a lot.
So
I think Timbo was looking at making Livid Farm more livable.
Yeah.
I think
that's on our Ninja backlog of things to take a look at and improve. We're unlikely to remove that one, I think, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay. We've seen 90% of people saying remove mobilizing armies. That doesn't mean we're definitely going to do that. We'll discuss it further and see what people say. But for now, we'll move on with the questions. So Midday Breeze asks, invention-wise, will we ever be able to extract a special attack or item or set ability and place it into a different weapon/armor? Any thoughts on that?
Probably not.
Modolly?
Why are you looking at me?
I don't know.
Well, the thing is,
Mod Pie's been answering all the questions.
We're doing it as well. We're doing it in some things, but I'm not sure if it's specifically invention. We've got. I don't want to say anything.
Something that could pull a special attack off a weapon and augment it onto another one sounds cool in principle. Like I kind of like the idea of pulling the power off something and putting it on another thing. However, balancing-wise, I'm just going to take my declaw spec and put it on my AGS. That's balanced, right?
Yeah.
Unless it was overpowered, there'd be no reason to do it. And if it was overpowered, we wouldn't let you do it.
But there's things like you might have a set of armor that I can't say. I'm
You
just
can't
gonna
spoil
spoil it. But yeah, like imagine you had like a sword which doesn't really do much on its own, but then you can pour other swords into it to have effects from them on it. You know, so that's something that
Maybe
comes up
we
quite
could
often.
do something where, like, due to balancing reasons, we'll only allow it to happen with certain items
Yeah,
or something.
But certainly the free
Yeah.
exchange of abilities between
Yeah.
Noah.
yeah, as like
Well,
an
and we could
invention
do something
mechanic.
where it's like if you're taking the Saradomin sword spec off of it, you have to like use up 100 of those swords to get like it or to be able to take it,
It
or
would be,
something like that.
yeah, it would probably be punitively balanced. If
I saw someone suggest we should allow the Gmaul spec on the Nox scythe. I thought that one was particularly special.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'll see a few concerns balancing wise there. Mr. GW asks, will tier 90 power boots and Onyx/Hydrix ammo ever be made viable and cost effective to be used?
So I was discussing this today with Timbo, and we believe it's more of a kind of availability problem. So it's the rate at which they're coming into the game, because obviously the price isn't really set by us. Obviously, the amount coming in, the amount going out of the game are loosely set by us. But it's like Onyx bolts are a prime example. For instance, their AUC price is so ridiculously good that you don't really want to do anything else with them. And if we buffed their ability to be better than their AUC price, you'd have some really disgusting, overpowered things. So the real answer is to make them AUC for less. But I don't think making Onyx bolts
go
out
down
for
too
less
well.
would go down
No.
too well. No, the boots are a bigger problem, which I'll have more discussions with Timbo over about how we look at that, because obviously those have gone out rather underwhelming. Maybe it's the rate at which they're coming into the attachments are coming into the game is a problem. Maybe it will stabilize over time as more and more people do the dragons. But yeah.
Cool, nice one. Midday Breeze again. Been a while. Can you give either the drop rate of blood dye or the amount of dyes in game? We actually have an image for the data here. So this is the first bit. There is how many dyes since the launch of blood dyes have entered the game. So you can see how those compare. So blood is on the same level as third age, whilst obviously barrows is a lot more popular, a lot more easier to obtain. With Shadow second. And then the second part is the number of dyes ever found. So there you go. Now you know how many dyes are in the game.
Good luck getting those blood dyes.
Yep, definitely. Must be worth
Was the
quite
answer
a
to
bit.
that question then no? Then is that how I should interpret that data?
In what? Sorry.
Didn't he say, "Can we have more, please"?
He asked,
Can we have
can you either give the drop rate of blood dye or the amount of dyes in game? So that's the amount of
That's
dyes
the
in
amount
game.
of
sorry, I
dyes
see
in
you
game.
showed me the amount.
And
Can you please
based
give
on
me
those
some blood
numbers, the drop rate is the same as the third age, I would say. Midday Breeze again.
Keen.
A long time ago, Superflax was an idea for Elf City. Could this come true as a medium/high level farmable crop?
I'm not sure what that was.
It's not a bad idea.
Well, I mean, I don't.
just-
it
do
doesn't
it-
strike
do-
me as something that's needed.
Does it fill a reward space?
Possibly.
I mean, I guess
Go and
like.
check.
I mean, I guess
We're not
Superflax
currently
would.
planning to do anything with farming.
I guess Superflax you would be able to like turn it into more bowstrings than just
Multiple
one or
bowstrings.
something like
Like,
that.
what effect
No,
do you reckon
better-
that would
better
have?
bowstrings.
Better bowstrings.
Better bowstrings.
And we'd-
Yeah.
So you're going to have your sighted
And then you
better
can string 3 of them
bow.
on your bow and have a triple super bowstring.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Compound bows.
And then
compound.
it's, I don't know, 10 times better than a previous bow. that's balanced, right? I've got
Yeah.
You're the
It
guy-
sounds like we've got a full design.
You can
here.
just approve
Yeah,
this
I know,
right
right?
now and we can just do it.
Yeah, that sounds like it's unlikely, to be honest to me.
Sounds unneeded.
Pure T PPC. I'm not sure if I was saying that right or if it means something. Is there any chance you could rework the GE API updater so it upgrades more precisely? Currently, there is a 5% daily cap for updating. Considering how there are so many events that cause items to trade way beyond plus minus 5% price difference, could we already remove the 5% daily update cap?
So we've been talking about this with Timbo.
For the 5%, no. It's there for a very good reason. It basically puts, if you think merchanting is bad now, it would be much worse if that 5% wasn't there, trust me.
Right.
However, we recently got a really cool tool which will highlight big outliers. So when something is trading on the GE far away from its mid price, it will highlight it to us, and then, well, Timbo. And then Timbo is going to be
He has to go manually fix it.
manually fixing things, basically. So part of his weekly update is to kind of catch these things and update them as and when required. But the 5% thing has to stay.
I mean, there are other options we can consider for that, but the problem is that anything we do to the GE makes them, it changes
a
the
huge
economy
difference.
dramatically. And generally, we find that people don't want us dramatically changing the economy. So we could, for example, take off the 5%, let the prices flow freely, and then put a tax on the GE, which would discourage even merging. But it would radically transform the way the GE was used. And so that isn't necessarily, that might be a better solution from some perspectives, but it might be a much worse solution from others. So we might not want to do that.
Cool. A question from the chat here from Sir Legacy asking, any information on the bank rework?
Bank rework?
On the bank rework, yes.
There's a bank rework? Sorry, I'm just getting PTSD here.
Well, I mean,
We have no information on that.
from the Ninja survey that I was talking about earlier on, there was a number of requests for improvements to the bank. And all of them, I feel, are very much, we need to rework how the bank works.
we need to rewrite the way the bank works.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
I am sat next to a team who are kind of like made up of our lead tech dev and our upload
They're like
manager
the
and
A
such.
team of RuneScape development.
And they have this
Oh yeah,
list.
make them do it, yeah.
They have this list of all these things that they need to improve and rewrite and make better, sort of thing. And the bank is on there. It's just one of the things they need to kind of get through, sort of thing, prioritizing other stuff and whatnot. So it's definitely something we want to do. Like improve the bank. When we're playing the game, we all want to improve the bank, sort of thing. It's just another one of those things that it's a lot of work, sort of thing. Like it's a big commitment to do.
Takes time away from something else.
Yeah, it
We
takes
keep
time
talking
to
about
work
all
on
these
stuff.
lists of things that we'd love to do, but we have a 15-year-old game full of stuff that
Yeah.
And
could
we're
use
constantly
improving,
adding stuff.
and we're
Yeah.
constantly making new stuff. It's like, finding time for it all is very difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Island Kid says the free-to-play bosses are awesome, which is really good, which we released yesterday. Can we get more information on the drop table changes? Are they able to drop the boss pets, which is a nope. The Last Rider Journal, which is also a nope. I always pronounce this one wrong. The Visage?
Visage.
Visage?
The Visage, yeah.
Visage,
Draconic
Visage.
Visage.
Those are fine, I think.
Which it does drop that. The Dragon Rider Boots, which is a nope. The Gloves, which is a nope. The KBD Head, which is nope. And the Dragon Two-Hander, which is also a nope. The Giant Mole does drop
D2H.
Sorry?
Does drop D2H.
It does?
Yeah.
I thought that was nope.
No,
Sorry,
KBD
my apologies.
doesn't.
Oh, the Giant Mole,
Mole does,
Sorry,
yeah.
yeah. And then the Giant Mole also drops the Clingy Mole and Moleskin. So there you go for that. Yeah, so that's what they drop. Dordayan asks, any updates on hard mode necks or rots?
Hard mode bots.
Hard mode next is still, I think Harrison
needs to back his ideas up.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not like a thing that will be happening anytime soon.
Basically, Harrison's
That's
making...
like a tap project?
Yeah, Harrison's making it in tap.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's making any progress. Rots, just rots in general. Well, I genuinely don't know.
We are looking closely at rots due to recent events. So you might see a change to rots soon.
Oh,
Me and Harrison are working on stopping a kind of thing happening. But that's still to come.
Cool. See how that goes. So after that update, see how people get on with it. I've got an image to bring up now for this one. It was posted on the Reddit, I believe. This is Tim Tam Hunter, and he's asking, would it be possible to show prices while searching items in the GE? And he's done a mock-up, which you can see on the screen now. Mopai, is this possible?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Add a quick look, and we can totally do that, which is awesome.
Cool. Nice.
I'm looking forward to seeing it in game, and I haven't even made it yet.
Add it on the Ninja backlog. Nice. All right then, another one for you, Mopai. Any updates on dueling anywhere, or is it still on the back burner?
It is in QA. So we're currently getting our QA testers to test it functionally. We don't have any graphics for it yet for the fluff and to make it look cool. I think it'd be kind of cool to like throw a glove downwind or something, etc.
Yeah, it'd be
We
cool
won't-
to get some suggestions
Yeah.
maybe from the players. So if when you're dueling, obviously we need something to, right now it's just you go through chat like a trade request or
It's
something
like a
that,
trade
isn't it?
request, yeah.
But it's the duel sort of thing. But obviously we want something a bit more grand and show off that these two people are going to
Yeah,
go
I mean,
at it
we
each
won't
other.
we won't go ham because obviously you've got like the past has told us things like Dom Tower with the taunts, etc. Like you don't want it to get too grating because you're going to be doing this a lot, hopefully. But functionally, it's in QA right now. It's the QA. There's no ETA on release because the QA needs to take as long as it needs to take.
Yeah.
It's dueling anywhere, so it's fighting anywhere. I don't want to be responsible for Family Massacre 2. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Or do you? You go down in history.
I would, yeah. Mod
Not
Pi
for the right
321. But no, it's in QA. We're hoping to release it soon, TM. But yeah, we'll release when it's
Yeah.
ready and safe.
Cool, nice one. Lol, okay, whatever, asks, could we get virtual XP drops? So if you're 200 mil in a skill, we can still see what XP we would have gotten. I miss seeing XP drops in PVM situations mainly. There's more to this question, but I think it's a pretty simple answer. I mean, well, Jack, you've been working on something recently that they can use for that.
Oh, on Rune Metrics?
Yeah, room metrics.
But that won't make the drops appear.
No, but you can
No, but
see
it
how
will-
much
it
XP.
will show the XP gain.
Yeah, it will show the XP.
So,
yeah, yeah, you can turn on Rune Metrics and track the XP that you're getting.
Yeah, so even once you've hit your max XP, you can still see how much XP you
The
would have
drops
gotten.
make sense to me as an option like virtual levels.
Yeah,
in a way.
it's definitely something we can do. It's very much a first world problem.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it's
Yeah,
going to
it
be
would have
like,
to be
we'll do this
prioritised.
now.
It's
But,
certainly
you
something
know,
I look at and I
something we
don't
can do,
like.
yeah.
Compared to the GE prices, I
Yeah.
think GE price is a little bit
Yeah.
higher up the list than that one. Mod Pi, they're all for you today. All over RS had asked any news on Bounty Hunter for RS3.
I started it in TAP.
You started it in
I
TAP.
started it in TAP and I've made a big long list of rewards from the wonderful people in the PvP forum. I promised them that if they created me a bunch of rewards, I would make Bounty Hunter in TAP. Well, they've been awesome and given me like 40, 50 pages of rewards for
Nice.
Bounty Hunter. So yeah, it started.
Cool. I think within Ninja Team, we often have ninjas starting TAP projects, and as they progress a little bit, and we've seen that they've actually committed to them, then I'm quite happy to move them into like more regular time to get them done, sort of thing. So, as long as you stick to it, Mod Pi, then
Don't let us down like Harrison
it will
has.
happen.
2 years later.
All right. So we've gone through all the questions I've been given today. So thank you very much for them. Well, apart from the final part, which is Ninja Quickfire, but we've gone through all the general questions, and we are getting on quite a bit. So I'm getting cameras adjusted to focus on me, which I
It'll be
don't
cam
quite like
time.
the idea. Is it a hat removal?
Yeah.
Yes.
No
Oh,
hat
please.
cam.
Go
No
on.
hat
Yeah,
kelpie
hat
cam.
Oh.
Oh,
Do I need to look down a bit? Yeah. Friar Kelpie
Friar
Christian's
Kelpie
out,
in the
Christian's
house.
out,
with
I
his.
think.
I'm
Oh,
going to say
I already
quick
did
fire.
that
Christian's
earlier
out
on.
time. Oh, did you do
We're not
it?
even going to be on camera.
I'm going to say
You can be
quick
in camera if you
fire,
want.
but I'm no Mod Osborne and I can't read that quickly. And we still have 5 minutes left, so we can take a little bit more time over them if needs be. Mod Jack, Mod Ollie, feel free to pitch in if you like. So first one, can we please re-enter our instances with under 10 minutes left? There is time to still get another 2 kills for certain bosses, and it feels like a waste.
No, that's a safety precaution.
Cool. Please make it so free-to-players can buy and use prayer potions, but not make them, obviously. Would help a lot with Mole and KBD.
Maybe.
Can we get offhand blue right sword and the ability to smith it added to free-to-play?
Yes.
Can we make bank presets autofill coal bag?
No, that code is horrifically convoluted and we don't add anything more to it.
Can you make deadly red spiders in the chaos tunnels aggressive to everyone as a way to combat the bots collecting the eggs?
No, the bots will just AFK combat train.
Can Wine of Zami be added to the Abyssal Demon drop table as an uncommon drop? I'm pretty sure Abyssal Demons qualify to be Zamorakian, right?
Potentially Zerosian.
Yes,
They are, yeah, they're not.
Are they
They're not Zamorakian, they're Zerosian.
but a lot of them are.
They might quite like Zamorakian
Yeah.
wine, though. I mean, that's,
Basic TLDR, kill black demons. It's quick fire, guys.
Can you increase the rate of obtaining logs from player-grown trees?
No, you've got Hydra.
Can you make easier, faster, better methods for runecrafting combination runes?
Yes.
Can we get offhand... Oh, why do you make me say these things? Cullen Aromancer.
Aeromancer.
Chromancer.
Chess items and white equipment.
Chromancer items, maybe, not high priority. White items, only if we can half the number of main hand items there are in the shop. I know exactly why you want those.
Could we either get XP for using Seedicide on pickpocketed seeds or get a toggle to disable it on pickpocketing without having to change the settings individually every time?
Toggle escape for the win.
So that's a yeah.
Yeah.
Can Demon Flashbobs receive a set spawn time for servers on the hour or half hour like D&Ds? They appear on the map at different times and spawn at different times. The gap can be anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes.
No, we've got too much in those time slots, and we like you finding them. We like the social interaction.
Cool. As a quest or invention rewards, could the Holy Wrench be added to the tool belt?
No, you are meant to sacrifice an inventory slot for that, or pocket slot.
Or pocket slot. Cool. Can we please get Agaroth added to the weekly D&D token? That was your one, isn't it?
That is, yeah. I think there was a reason that we didn't, but we could definitely revisit that because I can't remember what the reason was.
Cool. Nice one.
So that's not a yes
to
or no.
investigate. All right, we're pretty much done for today. Oh God, look at that. Which camera on?
That's
Like
lit.
this one.
it's beautiful.
Like there's a proper triangle.
Yeah, I
in
like the
there.
Hands
triangle.
disappearing.
It's like someone's put an iron on it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the haircut, then you can blame Mob back, tweet him, or compliment him. He was my hairdresser. I didn't tip him. Okay, so to end, Mod Shawnee is hosting a community stream at 9 p.m. UTC today, and he'll be doing so in NXT, and he'll be doing some pest control and some more JMod shenanigans, so please tune in for that. Next week we have God Wars Dungeon 2. We'll be showing off the environment. Will you be back for that one, Mod Ollie?
Yes, I will, because that will also be the launch of Tales of the God Wars.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be talking about that as well.
So Tales of God Wars next week.
Yes.
We got some
Confirmed.
champs.
Nice. And to leave it, we'll leave you with a video of Mod Campbell eating the worst smelling fish in the world in the early hours of morning of Game Blast. I started watching it and I had to leave because I was afraid I was going to throw up myself.
This is the Surstrom.
I came upstairs and found Mod Ramen watching it on Twitch, and he nearly threw up just watching it through Twitch. So it was bad. So enjoy, yeah. And yeah, we'll leave you that. So goodbye until next week, everyone.
Bye.
Just do it.
Everyone takes a step back.
This smells like bad life choices. I told you, bad life choices. Do you want to take a whiff? Come on then.
Oh, it's not that bad. I mean, I wouldn't eat it, but...
I don't like fish. I mean, I don't, but this is... Oh!
It doesn't actually... Oh my goodness.
Oh! Nah.